Hi and welcome back to Joe's DIY. So we're here with part two of the HP Pavilion 8754. I have to apologize, but in the previous video I actually gave you the wrong model number for this PC. For some reason I had it in my head the 2164, but there's no such thing. It's actually an 8754. So I'm just kind of clarifying that, and I'll go ahead and edit that out of my previous video. But nonetheless, I'm here to fix this computer. Well, not fix it, actually do some upgrades. So I have some goodies to share. First off, we have a Sound Blaster Live sound card because I do expect to play a couple of DOS games on this computer. And I also have a PCI card for USB ports. These might come in handy. I know this machine only has a couple, so it wouldn't hurt to put a couple more if I can fit it in. And then we have a SATA hard drive that I actually have a converter for this. This usually gets used a lot for hacking Xbox, like old school Xboxes, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this on this drive so I can convert it into an IDE. And the nice thing about this, I don't know if you can see that right there, but this has a jumper that we can set to either master or slave. So this is gonna come in really handy. And we're also gonna upgrade the RAM. This is about 256 megabytes, which will put this machine over to 512 megabytes, and I think that's the max. So we'll go ahead and make sure that. And last but not least, I got a Diamond Stealth PCI card, a Radeon 9250. Let's get that out of the box here. So this is the perfect card that goes with this, because unfortunately this does not have a video card slot, so I'm gonna have to go through the PCI port to make this work. So I'm gonna go ahead and install one of these, and it'll also give me DVI and as well as VGA and 256 megabytes of memory on the card, so that should be nice. And additionally, we're gonna go ahead and replace the CD drive with this DVD drive. This is also an HP drive, which is kind of nice, and we'll probably end up putting it right here because this one does not read any discs. The top one doesn't read discs either, but we might as well keep the top one just for aesthetics. I can probably get away with just using the bottom one to install all the software that I need to install, so I'll just replace the bottom one, and that way it kind of stays the way I remember it for the most part. So that's basically it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so lucky for me, I've had quite the experience with taking this apart. And it's not as straightforward as you'd think. Yes, you do have to remove the side panel, obviously, to get into this, but we also have to remove the front so we can actually get in there, because this case is not very wide for as much as all these drives and hard drives that are installed here. You really have to make some room by removing the front drives. I'll show you what I mean right now. All right, so I'll go ahead and open that. So right off the bat, I mean, you can see everything's kind of squeezed in together. You can't even see the board from this angle. So in order to do that, we're gonna go ahead and remove the front. So the way I do it, you have to actually lift this top part. I'm gonna get a screwdriver and we just pry. There's like a, I don't know if the camera's catching that, but there's like a little hole right here, and you can just pop open the front panel. Front panel just pops off, and there you go. So this panel pops off, and I'll put this aside here. And what that permits you to do is now you have access to pushing out these drives so that they're not in your way. And then you can just lift, see, push this out. And you could push this all the way out. Actually, I probably will, because actually, let me hold off on that because I don't want to get these masters and slaves confused. But if you can see in there, let me see if I can get the camera to focus on there, but you can see that that is basically the inside of the motherboard, and right down there, I don't know if the camera can catch that, but that's actually the CPU, and then we have 2 RAM slots. One that I have to upgrade with the 256 megabytes, and you do have your floppy disk connection and you know, your DVD drive connection. So I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble some of this so I can go ahead and start attaching some of the cards and stuff. Okay, so I managed to get all the drives out of the machine. They just slid out. I just had to unplug everything, but here's everything. It's kind of heavy because there's definitely some weight to that. But there's a closer look at the motherboard. As you can see, for any of you who are curious about what's inside, this is amazingly clean. I mean, it's hard to even believe that this is over 20 years old. It looks like completely untouched. Okay, so I got the SSD all set up, and I got the little 3.5 insert all ready to go, and I also got the adapter. And the adapter here has a master and a slave setting. I've set it to slave because I've discovered that this drive was set to master, so that'll be perfect. I'll go ahead and make sure that I just plug in everything in the right way. This one was already in cable select, so was this one, so we should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Okay, so as you can see, it's, you know, this is going right through the video card, by the way. You can see that it's identified the DVD drive and the RAM, but it did not identify the memory card that I had, the solid state drive. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove the Mac Store, which is the drive that has the original OS on there. And I'm going to go ahead and try to see if it'll identify it as a master. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a try. Okay, so it looks like that got straightened out. It looks like everything is where it should be. That the King Chuksin, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's showing up as the primary master drive. I did remove the other drive, so we're going to go ahead and install Windows 98 on there. Alright, so here's a good look at it fully assembled. Once you know how to put the front plate on, I mean, it's pretty easy. So one thing to note, this power supply seems to be, I don't think it's failing, but I don't think it's powerful enough to handle these 2 drives. I noticed that it was very inconsistent when I turned it on into the BIOS. Sometimes this drive would appear, sometimes it wouldn't. So I'm thinking that it's probably having trouble powering both of these. So what I ended up doing was I put these on separate cables. So basically, you know, the power supply has several different IDE cables. So what I did is I just you know, made sure that they were on separate ones. That way they could draw equal power from different cables. Hopefully that works. I did turn it on earlier, and it appears that all the drives are showing up, so including the hard drive. So that looks good. Let's take a quick look at the back before I start installing everything. Well, at least software. So get this out of the way. Okay, so this does come with onboard video and audio, but I went ahead and did install the graphics card, which is right here, and I did install the sound card and the additional USB drives, and then I left the modem, the LAN modem, on here just in case I might need it later on if I ever want to get on the internet. Okay, so we're finally at the Windows 98 menu. Had a little bit of problems with the actual drives, so I had to completely disconnect this one so that this one could get full power. So I'm thinking that eventually I'm probably going to have to get a new power supply, or put a different power supply here with more wattage, because it doesn't seem to be able to operate both CDs and DVD equally, so that is kind of a problem. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I wonder what that's all about. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. All right. So it's the next day, and after several hours of troubleshooting, I finally gotten Windows 98 to start installing. Luckily, it's going rather quickly because of the SSD drive. So it turns out that it was something pretty benign. I thought it was something major, like the power supply wasn't working, but it turns out that we have these banners, I guess, or cables that weren't making a very good connection on either the drives or the hard drive, so I had to replace them, and which is weird because they look basically brand new. Maybe the plastic's a little brittle, that's why, you know, they're not holding as tight, but nonetheless, I got that working. And then we had the problem of not being able to format these discs, and finally I ended up just pulling out the SSD and formatting it on my other computer. You got to make a MBR type of format and FAT32, and after that Windows 98 installed right away. So that is kind of good news, because I put in at least an hour of time trying to figure this thing out, and I just wasn't able to. So anyways, next thing is installing the drivers. Okay, so it's been actually a couple of days, and I'm basically just given up on this. For some reason, I cannot get the HP Pavilion to install on an SSD or even a typical hard drive. I have no idea why. I suspect it's the motherboard. It probably needs a recapping, which I'm not prepared to do actually. So I'm just gonna leave the standard Windows Millennium in the system with its original hard drive at the moment. I actually wanted to keep it untouched because it was kind of a fresh copy of an install, but I'm just gonna leave it like that, and I'm gonna try to install a few games so I can kind of show you the other components. The other components work great, and I actually went ahead and I even got a new DVD drive that I'm going to show in a moment that's better matching with the color scheme of this machine. And I was also fortunate enough to find the keyboard, the original keyboard that comes with this. I think the only thing that's missing is that little cover that for your hands to rest on, but other than that, I think it works pretty well, and it even has the little dial to adjust the volume. So this project was actually a bit of a failure partially, but I was able to get the sound card, and I was able to get the actual video upgrade for the video card working, so that's working great. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you a couple of games on this machine, and then we can kind of close out this this video. All right, so here's a look at this beauty. Like I said, unfortunately this was missing, and probably impossible to find a replacement, but you never know. What I like about this is that you could actually control a lot of the components. See how that opened up? You can actually control a lot of the components with the keyboard, and you also have that dial for the volume adjustment, so that's kind of nice. And of course, I mean, if you were hooked up to the internet, you could possibly go on there with just a push of a button like that. And you can see. All right, so I hope you can see everything that's in front of me right now on that screen. I could put this through a video card or a video capture device, but I think I'll just show it as it was intended. So let's go ahead and open up a game here. I got do 3D, so let's try that. As you can see, it runs beautifully. I'll just let the demo play a little bit. I am really impressed by the difference that you get from a CRT monitor. It's just the way it was meant to be played, and that's why I think it looks great. So I was recently at a Goodwill and I found a couple of games that play on this kind of hardware. I even got a copy of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, a very old game. So we're gonna go ahead and try some of these. I actually kind of like this one. It's kind of like a it's kind of like a Doom clone, sort of. This one, but it's set in the Vietnam War, so it's kind of interesting. I think it's actually even made by the same company. So let me see. I think it's from ID. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and have a look at it and see how well it runs. Yeah, 3D Realms. I think that's the Duke Nukem company. So I don't think I was too far off on that. Let's see. So I see it's very reminiscent of Doom, sort of. Duke Nukem. Okay. Let's try that again. Oops, I died again.
Operation Little Wing. Militant terrorist.
Alright, so game is pretty fluid and I definitely love the way it looks on that screen. I think the display really helps it. Okay, I guess I died very soon. So the game is definitely fluid and it works well. And definitely can handle all the graphical demands. Alright, so here are my final thoughts. For me, it was a very interesting journey to be able to go back 20 odd years and reconfigure my original setup for my first PC. It's definitely a lot of nostalgia value for me. Now, would I recommend a project like this? Absolutely not. I just think that it's very, very hard to get these things working after 20 years, especially when Hewlett-Packard was making, machines for the typical consumer that was just barely getting into PCs. None of this stuff is high-end. The monitor actually is really nice, but the board is kind of faulty. Probably needs to be recapped. I've worked with IBMs lately, and I see the difference in quality with those machines. Also Dell's I think made a pretty good machine as well. So not really impressed with the quality that HP gave out, but honestly, this is all just nostalgia for me. So this is why I went ahead and made this restoration and to the best of my ability, and also upgraded the machine to its best capabilities. The plan now is to see if I can get a working motherboard and get a fresh copy of Windows 98 installed on there, so that I can go ahead and play some more games here, and also hopefully get that SSD running. I think the SSD would be very helpful to a machine like this. Especially playing games that are a little bit more demanding. I've noticed that Rainbow Six worked okay, but sometimes it's a little laggy in some scenes, so I think an SSD would help it just a bit. But nonetheless, I mean, if you want to really embark on a journey like this, I would definitely recommend it, because you do end up thinking about the past and get all those memories coming back. But other than that, I don't think it would make a great gaming machine. Honestly, I think it's just a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of other better hardware out there that's easier to upgrade. Already has a PCI slot for a good game card. I mean, for a good video card. This one didn't have any video PCI slots. I had to use a PCI card to get it to work right. So anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.